Hi, this is Kamala Murphy, and you are listening to the Heart and Chutzpah podcast, where we talk about giving ourselves permission or having the chutzpah to just claim a right to live really juicy, luscious lives. With our big hearts, we're going to face love and loss, heartache and healing. We'll fall down and rise up again. And through it all, we'll develop our heart and our chutzpah, and we'll find our way to our own unique, luscious, and amazing life. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy this episode. Welcome, everyone. This is Kamala. Welcome to this episode of the Heart and Chutzpah podcast. Today, I have with me a wonderful guest, and I'm really excited to have her share her wisdom with all of us. Her name is Maxine Shapiro, and Maxine is a speaker, training professional, and coach whose acting and comedic background at the Second City Improv Lab merges with 25 years of business, world, and financial industry experience. She's been the host of 2 financial radio shows and has been a financial commentator for NPR's Marketplace, which is one of the most widely listened to broadcasts around in the country, right?
Yeah.
And Maxine brings her outrageous blend of humor and business savvy to organizations, from the federal government to Fox, Papyrus to Zappos. And she uses one of the most unique tools in business today, improv. So I'm really excited about hearing about that. She's created an international demand for her unique collaborate and inside the box keynotes and workshops. Maxine empowers people to discover and bring their passion to the workplace, because we all know that when the individual can dream big and be their very best self, the entire workplace is transformed. So I'm thrilled to welcome Maxine Shapiro. Hi, Maxine.
Hi, Kamala. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That's funny because that last line, it's not just for the organization, it's also the teams, the interpersonal. When you let me express myself and I let you express yourself, I mean, right there, magic happens.
Magic.
It really is, because we don't, sometimes we just dig in. Our egos want us to dig in and go, my idea is better, and then I don't want to hear your idea,
Right.
And I just got to experience that. And that's what I love to do, is just go in kind of the back way and get them to like, oh my God, look at what we have in common. Look at the connection. So that it's not like, now, it's not one of those, you should listen, it's like, you want to listen.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, get curious.
Right.
And when you give people permission to do that,
yeah.
Anything.
As you say, it's magical because it's all these possibilities open up, and wow, I hadn't thought of it that way, or, that's interesting. It's like, great. Yeah.
And I should say, let's say I have this idea, and we don't have to be married to our ideas. And we're right now we're getting into this conversation 3/4 of the way down. We'll explain all this, but you don't have to be married to an idea to express it, because then once it's out there, somebody else can go, yes, and what about this? Like, it may inspire other people. So it's not this, and then doesn't matter who is the original, speaker of the idea, the original, that's all.
Yeah. Who introduced the seed? Does it really matter if the plant is grown into this beautiful?
Wouldn't it be hysterical? I planted that seed over there. Like, what?
Right.
That is a good way. I got to remember that one.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I planted the seed.
Yeah.
The tree grew because of me. I planted it. It's like, what? Yeah. I love that. It's a great image.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. So before, because there's so many things that I want to talk about with you today, but can you give us just a little background of, how you managed to combine acting and improv with business and financial radio shows? It's like, huh? How did that work?
Yeah, I don't know, but I wasn't controlling it, that's for sure. Yeah, okay, really quick. 18 years on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade, or in the building for a little bit. And then I left there and met my now ex-husband. And, I couldn't handle Chicago winters. In the meantime, because of the market closing when it did, I would always either be in theater, and then I started to go to the Second City Improv Lab.
Wow.
And my training was um, back in high school, was with a gentleman who actually knew Viola Spolin, who was the mother of improv, as we know. Viola Spolin is the person that started improv. Okay. We all improvise. So, what we like to say now, I'm just going to jump to what you said, that I use improv. I use the application of improvisation. So it's not that performance improv. You got to be funny and you and your boss are at a bus stop. It's not one of those. Okay.
Right.
But it's taking that application of yes and making the other person look good, thinking quick on your feet, getting that ideation process and building on it. So anyway, so there I was, doing a lot of theater, and then we moved on to Dallas, and I started working for a financial firm, which I said I was never going to go back to after leaving the floor of the Board of Trade. And sure enough, it was a commodity house, and I did, and he won. And so we started a radio show on one of the best AM stations in Dallas. And they said the only reason we'll do it is that if the two of you, because we love the banter. See, I never took that game seriously. I wound up on the Board of Trade floor, and I'm going, oh my God, these people are screaming about money. I was a hippie. What is money? I don't understand. And then it's such a great, wow. And then I I just had this innate savvy for it,
Really?
And I love it. I love business. I have a really strong business mind. I think, there's this, I was denying that part of myself, and not for long at all, once I realized how much I loved it. And so there I was, doing the show, and he didn't want to do it anymore, the owner of this financial. So I started doing that, and then I submitted something to Marketplace, a commentary. So I'm not an analyst, and I'm not the market is up, the market is not. I'm not a reporter. I'm a commentator. So I get to say, wait a minute, do you believe that just happened? I get to really cut it. And I sent one of them my commentaries, and they called me up and they said, can you be funny spontaneously? And I went, can you give me a minute? I don't know. I'll try. And then 9/11 happened, and nothing was going to be funny after that.
Right.
But 6 months later, I heard from them again, and so I was a daily commentator. I mean, not daily. I'm sorry. I was a weekly financial commentator there, and then North Texas Public Radio, which is the fourth largest market there in the country, they had me do a daily one.
Oh.
So it was just, but I had to be pithy, and some days I was successful, and others it was, let me tell you, it was invented today, but I had to be on every day, it was great. I loved it. And in the meantime, I started taking film acting classes, and we're not going to go into that. But I'm in LA now, and I've got an agent, and so I'm back. Yeah, I'm back in town. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I had said to myself, I've got to do a retreat of improv. I haven't done improv in so long. I just want to delve into it. And I saw this thing. I'm living in Dallas, upper state New York, of 4 days, doing. And I went up there. Second exercise, Camille. I said, oh my God, does this translate to business? And the gentleman who was running it said, Maxine, there's a handful of us. And at the time, 15 years ago, we were just a handful.
Mhm.
Now, and we used to go, yeah, I take improv, and you couldn't say improv. Now you shout it from the rooftops, everybody's doing it, and I love it. It's like if just one person was doing it, what would be the demand, right?
Right.
So
Right.
the fact that and we are such a giving community. We do what we ask our clients to do. We collaborate all the time. When the pandemic started, all of us had been doing this in person,
Mhm.
we just jumped on Zoom and went, how can we transfer this here? And we still get together every Friday and we do this open space and we go into breakout rooms and we play games and people say, I need this. I'm working with educators. I'm working with nurses. I've got this thing coming up. Does anyone have experience or how can you, or can we see how it works? It was amazing. It was amazing.
Wow.
It
Wow.
still is. I'm so proud to be part of that community because all we're asking people to do is be themselves.
Mm.
And, you know, uh, and for
But
many of
you know
us,
what? You say that, and it's kind of, we're just asking people to be themselves. And yet, I think this is really powerful because so many of us haven't felt like we could be. It's just like, so we need that permission to just, we jokingly said earlier, just let her rip, you know, just drop all the pretenses and the have tos and the polites and the nice and the, so I just, yeah, can you say a little bit more about how you allow people or what you do? Maybe it's modeling, you know.
oh yeah, but I actually tell people you don't have to be animated like me. I'm a
Mm,
very animated person. And I like some of my favorite people to work with are the IT people because
mm,
I had this one guy go, I do it's we do these exercises so that and they're not directly related to their work, or I do anyway. This is how I do it. Not because if I used a work situation, then they've already got their cap on how far they know their limits. They think that's it. They can never do it again.
right.
So what we do is like going to a gym. When I go in and I lift weights, I'm not going to be walking around lifting 15-pound. I'm not at 15 pounds weights. I'm like lifting 10-pound weights, especially all day long. And when I need it, though, it's going to be ready.
Mm,
So
mm.
what I do is I put people through these exercises where, for instance, one of them is unlimited financial resources and the law of physics don't apply, and they have to come
Ah,
together with a new refrigerator. It is just I love watching people do it. They just come alive because now they've gotten the permission to let it go. And I go, now take this into your next brainstorming meeting.
mm,
Take this into the next solution, where you need to find something that works. Start with those unlimited financial resources. Start with the law of physics. You will be surprised how you will find a way to there. But if they immediately just go straight back to, because I do a lot in customer experience,
mm,
it is a big thing for me right now and has been. And first of all, it's got to start with the employee experience.
right.
But I know your audience, and I really want to speak to that, if I may.
Please, please.
As women, and we're starting to give each other permission to do this, and it's been a while, but I think there's a whole new generation that is not feeling the competitiveness that my generation felt, and we were pit against each other as women.
Yes.
These were quota days. I'm not kidding you. When I first wanted to, and God love E.F. Hutton, no longer around, but I was told when I wanted to be a broker, our woman quota is filled in New York, Maxine.
Wow.
Okay. So
Wow.
I, you know, we were just pit against each other. That's it. And I'm seeing all this change right now. And women empowering, women empowering. Look at you, empowering, women empowering. And really it's empowering self. You know,
Mhm.
you know, listen, sometimes I go, man, you've got it just as bad. Did I just say that? Maybe not in business. All right. Because, all right. Um, but in being, you've got to perform. And I don't mean, I'm not going to talk the sexual stuff, but you're asked to be a certain way too. And, you know, I, we don't have to be it.
Mm,
We don't have to be it. There are people out there that want to hear what you have, and they want it to come out of your voice,
right.
okay, out of your mouth.
Right.
And so, wait, I'm feeling like I'm getting a little vague here. Ask me another question about this, and let me see if I can pin it down here.
Well, let's see what when you do see a woman who is holding herself back,
Mm.
how do you approach helping her open up? Or I guess I'm going
Yeah,
back to permission to just be more of herself. And mm, I get enthusiastic about it, but it's like,
yeah, I do
yeah,
too.
yeah,
No, it is. So what I do, if it were, when I do it one-on-one, it's really breaking down the pretense.
mm,
And that just takes time.
yeah,
Meaning, literally when I do it one-on-one, I spend 3 hours. And
mm,
you can't wear a facade for very long, not in front of me anyway.
right.
And it is a permission, but it's really, well, it's the way their language is.
I, that
So
should word. Oh
it
my
should,
gosh,
yes,
yes.
I
Yeah.
should be able to. And look, I do want to talk about what you and I were discussing. I had just come back from a really wonderful weekend, and um, working with a new client. And Kamala, you had asked me, how did it go? And I went, really well. I mean, really well. Uh, and I was told I got all 4s and 5s, and I went, now, can I? And some people would say, can I be happy
Mm,
with not all 5s?
right.
And I said, can I love myself with 4s and 5s?
Mm,
I went, damn right I can. If I were talking to you and going, first of all, we're not our numbers.
right.
I'm not what any of them think. And I, I always say, if I can get, a handful, one person to go, boing. And I got to tell you, the men were coming up, boing, and just saying, because it's the experience. There's
Mhm.
plenty of books out there on how to be yourself, and you can do it, and climb a mountain and do all this, but this is the one-on-one connection.
Right.
This is where you get to connect with me
Mm,
and just be.
yeah.
And I start out with the story of your name. It's like, there's
Mhm.
nothing a facade about that. You don't have to make it up. It's just your story. I want to hear it.
I love that. Yeah.
And magic, because then it's not just the exercise, then we debrief it.
Mm,
We really debrief it. How did you feel? What did it feel like knowing somebody was really listening? Did you prefer listening or telling your story? Because I say it's got to be 60 seconds, no more, no less. Because a lot of people go, oh, story my mother gave it to me. Bye. And no, not enough. Okay. Especially if
Right.
you want to engage with people. And we got to be the first to engage sometimes. So I
Right.
have to tell them my story. And I'm pretty much an open book up there. I think they get really surprised. I'll share with you what happened. I put people in these groups, and years ago I learned I had a bad habit of, when people put you in groups and you start brainstorming, and there I am talking over it. Now, don't forget to say yes, and and the executive director, I could see her face, and it was like just the beginning of the first round, and she like didn't know how to say it. She goes, Maxine, we can't think when you're talking. And I went, oh my God, I just do what I hate. Thank you. She thought she was going to hurt my feelings. I think she was blown away that I went, thank you.
Right.
Because I'm not that, I can't be that facade anymore.
Yeah.
Every time I am, I'm just, I get too tired.
It takes a lot of energy.
It really, really does. And I spent my life being who I am.
Yeah.
What I do is being who I am. So now you've got people. When I got chronic fatigue syndrome,
Mhm.
and I remember I was selling something at the time, and I went from top of the board to bottom of the board. And a wonderful guide said to me, why don't you ask your friends who you are? And not a one of them said, well, you're the top seller at so-and-so. And that's all of us. Are you a great mom? You know it. Even are you a great lover? Are you a great friend? You are. And I'll share with you the cathartic place that I'm going now is I had this thing, we do this game now, it's called What If, but it's not the what if bad. What if I got home and there were 5 clients that emailed me and said, we want you to fly to the safe part of France? What if, I did a commercial and they wanted to do, a sitcom about it? It's the good what ifs,
The positive.
the tabs. I mean, it's just bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, so I said, and what if, because I want to get married again. I would like a relationship. I don't know about married, but definitely within a relationship. And, what if I was walking down the street and this person said, wow, you look really interesting. Why don't we go for some coffee and talk, and I would like, what if I was dating? And this woman says to me, I was doing this with her, and she goes, what if you dated yourself?
Oh.
And I got to tell you, I'm enjoying my own company.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I'm just saying that if you're young, do it now. I had a woman that was working with me, and I've just seen her growth. She loves this. She loves this stuff. And she was working with me. Now she's got her own little business. I shouldn't say little business. That sounds, she's got a big business now. Okay. She's great. And I that's all we want. That's all we get to do is be ourselves.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, were you true to yourself? And in doing so, did you step on anybody's toes? Make the amends. Make the amends.
Right.
I can usually see it on people's faces, when I shut people down. That's why we love the yes and what we do.
Right.
We go, yes. And instead of saying, no, are you kidding? We did that last year. That's not going to work. I call it the whoosh, yes. And, in 6 months, when we're on more solid footing, bring that back up to me again. I want to hear it. Or, instead of just saying, no, are you kidding? Give me another idea. We've been shut down our whole lives.
Right.
You know the stories of the music teachers and the English teachers, and that will never account, and then we don't all have to be like Michael Jordan, but we can be our own Michael Jordan. I'm from Chicago, so I gotta use him as an example. All right. But it's and listen, we just lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Talk about a woman who just by being herself. But I'm not, she's a little bit of a workaholic. Women, we don't have to be workaholics.
Right.
We don't.
Right. Yeah. There's something about I've only taken a couple of improv classes, but I always remember that yes and piece that you've mentioned a couple of times. And I think I'd like to find out a little bit more about that. Are there ways that we can actually use that even more or learn more about the yes?
Absolutely.
Because I know our tendency is often to say, well, yeah, but, and the yes and is a flipping the switch on that, right?
Listen, we're gonna say it. Okay. I tell people this, but once you get aware of it, yes, but we don't, usually we just say no. Sometimes I ask my groups, what is yes, but sound like? No, are you kidding? Do you know how much is on my plate? We did that last year. We did that last week. I don't like that restaurant. By the way, try yes anding your teenagers. Why will they flip out?
Wow.
Can I have the keys tonight? Yes. And on Friday, when I give you the keys, you could stay on an extra half hour. Wait, did she just say no and give me the keys up front? It's like, wait a minute, and right away, when I did this this woman goes, I'm always shutting down my husband. This woman said it right away. I'm always shutting down my husband. And we can see it. It's so how do we use yes and? How it comes from improv, and this is a school in of itself that believes it, but it is fairly adapted across the board, is that we don't negate, because if somebody comes onto a scene here, let me just think. Okay. So I got a bowl here, okay, and I have a spoon and I blow it, and I'm blowing on it, and somebody walks in and goes, so how's the ice cream? Now I could say, if I wanted to, that he was negating what I was doing. Or I can say, now I got to go with him, and I can say, great, until I stuck it in the microwave too long. Or it's this new kind of ice cream. When you blow on it, it changes colors, and I love that. Or you can just, that's what we mean by that.
Okay.
Because otherwise it just stops a scene. Okay.
Right.
So an offer, we call it accepting an offer. Anything that moves the scene, a project, a relationship forward. So, instead of saying, what's on my plate, I can't go up for coffee now, I'm too busy. And now this person will never ask you again for coffee. Right. Unless you say something like, what, I'd love to go for coffee. Can we do it next week? I am swamped right now, and I will look forward to it. I'll buy. Just that other way, because I sometimes in my groups I'll go that hard way that we usually do by going, I'm too busy, and I see these people literally going, and I have to hug them, and I got to tell you, this past weekend was my first one. I don't know when the show is on, and it'll be 5 years from now, and somebody will hear, what are they talking about, pandemic? Anyway, I did kind of hug her when I did it, just because I saw it. I wasn't quite as rough about it though, but I am. Why do I do what I do? Because I need it myself. Okay. I need it myself. I shut my own ideas down. I've shut other people's ideas down. I can still do it. Sarcasm. Listen, I was voted class arguer in my high school class. There were 800 people in my high school. Okay. Class arguer. Thank you very much. So I need this. I need it myself. Yeah. And so it's just that way of, we say acceptance, not agreement, but acceptance. I want to validate what you're saying. In fact, this one exercise, the one where I told you where there's unlimited financial resources and the law of physics don't apply, we go back and forth going, what I like about that idea is. Literally, once again, it's in that gym. Do you always have to say those words? No, but you'll find yourself doing it. I did a board of a NABO, National Association
Yes.
of Business Owners, and I did a board of directors. And the most exciting thing that they say is now, because these women, us, we're in thousands of organizations, right? In all their other organizations, they find themselves going, what I like about that idea is, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so much nicer to say than, oh, that isn't what I was thinking. I like my idea better. Don't they know this is me, and I'm smart. And it's that's what we mean by yes and.
I love
It's
that.
validating what you're hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I love that.
like maybe at work it would even be somebody new starting or whatever, instead of I made a mistake, yeah, you did that, that's a mistake. We cheer mistakes in improv. How about, what, when I first started, that was the logic I used too. Whoa, could you imagine if people really did that?
Right.
But that middle management, they are the hardest because they got to manage up, they got to manage down. They think I did when I was at Fox Entertainment, they were like these, like, I don't know what to say. Do I say up? Do I say down? But they're the people that they looked over, their teams were like, boom, they were out there, but how do you get those middle managers to just be able to go? I don't know.
Yeah.
They get to say that.
Yeah. And there's something here about, and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this about the women, the listeners, who are, again, I keep thinking about the permission, but it's like how to sort of drop some of the nice and polites and just
what do you love? You know what I do? I start out saying, what do you love? What do you love to do? And they go, I love, no, I want to know, what do you love to do? I love watching TV. You love watching TV. Great. Okay. That's wonderful. What kind of TV shows? What? And before you know it, because sometimes we haven't even been given an opportunity to vision.
right.
Wherever you are, if you're not happy, find a way to get happy.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you happy? Just answer that question for yourself. And sometimes I just sit there and what I do is when I do this one-on-one, I have a room, and I think now that we got the masks off and we can do it, I have a room that's got 3 whiteboards on it. And they're sitting there, and I just write, and then we start drawing lines. And when I do this, on Zoom, whatever, it's like we just start connecting the dots, and before you know it, and then they go, well, maybe in 10 years, 6 months from now, they're doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no 10 years because it's getting, we have this beautiful imagination. We get to imagine, we do. Take a walk in nature.
I mean, it's just dawning on me. This is actually such a big piece of it. Just allowing, a little more of the freedom and the imagination and the what ifs, and money is no object, and the laws of physics, don't apply. What then? And just allowing that enthusiasm and the energy. Because I think it's so true for women. We just, you have to be responsible, and you have to, be the good mother, the good wife, the
best.
Yeah, well, yes.
Perfect is really not
perfect.
The best. You have to be the perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we can throw all that, just off for a little while, and what could happen? That's exciting.
The beauty is once you have it, you can't go back.
Yeah.
There's no
going back. Right. Yay.
Yeah. So, and there is a way where, and it just, you see it all the time, wow, what's gotten into mom? I like her. We think that we have to be submissive and not express our creativity and not do that to make people happy. When in fact, when we're ourselves, that allows other people to be themselves. And now we're all happy.
Yeah.
And we, be okay with chaos. Be okay with not knowing. And if this pandemic, why have so many of us, and besides the physical and the loss, suffered through this pandemic? I mean, which was hard enough, and just hearing and, our own loved ones, was that we haven't really experienced what it is to not know what's coming around the corner. And even though it was a delusion that we ever did,
Right.
a complete delusion. I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work, right? Isn't that what I always do? You get to work and there's that pink slip. You get to work, it's layoffs, whatever. But this time it was just so hard. And I get it. I mean, I had mind breaking, it was just quite in it, because I wanted to do what I love doing. It's the not knowing that can be so freeing.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it's not scary. It's exciting, like a roller coaster. It's exciting. And if you don't like roller coasters, then find something that gets you excited, like going into a store even. And I'm sorry, I like to shop, I'm going, I wonder what kind of shoes I'm going to leave with, like if we see all the times that we do allow ourselves to not know, then we can see that it's not this new thing. It's like I said, it's been a delusion anyway.
Right. Yeah. Who's going to show up today?
There you go. Who's going to show up today? Who's going to call? Who am I going to call today?
Right.
What about just calling, like, how are you? How are you doing? Or what have you done lately to make yourself happy? Let's do that. Yeah. What have you done? Well, this week I had to work all day. Well, what's going to make you happy today? I don't know. Maybe putting up the feet, putting on some music and dance, or not putting up, maybe dancing to music,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of dancing lately.
Yes. Yeah. That's really, it's good for heart and soul,
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I have to say something though. I really, the word chutzpah is such a great word, and you have that in your title. And I some people may not know it. Do you know the definition?
I do. And so I tone it down. I just want to have a little more feistiness and not because it's kind of a negative, I understand, but I just love it.
Actually, it's used. That's because people, that takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So, darn
Yes.
right it does.
Yeah.
And I got the guts to do it, And the thing is everything that you've learned in the past that somebody said you couldn't do, or why am I just being myself and my family doesn't like me? Yeah. Or I feel invisible. Feel invisible, never invisible. Feel invisible. You can work through that. Yeah. We get a chance to just address it and put it away. And when it comes up, it doesn't have to be that weight that it's been on. We're carrying along this ball and chain of what some adult told us a long time ago, some stupid teacher, some sibling, whatever, and we bought it. And
yeah, and it's oftentimes a story that's not ours, isn't true, and doesn't hold for us any longer. It's like it's not who we've been created to be. So
yeah.
And break free.
Yeah. And you said something here, because I not said this out loud, but know yourself.
Mm.
And I was like, I could probably name a few things, but I think know yourself is just, maybe it isn't dating yourself and falling in love with yourself when I make the mistakes and going, all right, can I live with 4s and 5s? Damn right I can.
Yeah.
You know, because I care about those 4s and 5s. I'm never gonna, it's like having customers. You've got the neutral and the demoter. You can't do anything to make them happy.
Right.
You just
Right.
do. But how do you take the neutral to become the promoter? Like, that's why I love customer experience. What magic are you going to bring? You use the word outrageous because I love it. What are you going to do that's so outrageous that they're going to tell people? Because right now, that demoter is telling their friends all the bad things you just did. So you need to make for some promoters. And to do that is you've got to surprise them.
Yes.
You got to get beyond those expectations, and I just gave these people permission to do that. And this was a group of people that had, they had to be there on the front line during this pandemic. And it became an us versus them on everybody coming in. And and now they just got permission to just kind of, de-arm them. Just let's de-arm people.
Yeah.
Our son that comes in and goes, it's like, you got a good point. Did she just say I have a good point? What?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Anyway, okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to really thank you for sharing your time and your wisdom with us, because I have to say, every time I hear you, when I've seen your videos, you inspire me. There's something, I feel like I'm that outrageousness or audacity, because I have tried so much of my life to, be taken seriously, when inside, yes, I have a serious side and I'm not,
You just gave me goosebumps. I'm always trying to be serious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. My dad, I would go, I just remember what he used to say. It was so quick. Go, I'm serious. And he'd go, I'm Robot. Sears and Roebuck, for those of you.
Oh, right.
And
Chicago, right?
when I was on the floor of the board, I'm a serious. People go, does she know does she think she's 7 feet tall? I would scream at these guys, and it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Take me serious. Don't take me serious. I don't care.
But your outrageousness is one of the things that I most love and am so inspired by. And it's not really all that outrageous, but it's Maxine being Maxine, and just like, yeah, this is me and I love it. So thank you so much for that.
It touched me. Thank you. What you do for all the women.
Thank you.
Really. Thank you.
Thank you. So I mentioned to you that I like to ask one last question, and listeners know, I usually will, let people know this is going to come at the end, whether they remember it or not. But Maxine said, oh, don't tell me. So Maxine,
I may regret this.
If you could whisper in the ear of a younger version of yourself, what would you whisper to her?
Oh, what a heartful, beautiful question. I'm going to make cry. You're enough. Just the way you are. You're enough.
Yeah.
Always trying to prove myself. Just always.
Yeah. Thank you.
Poor little girl. She really did. She needed to.
Yeah. And she is enough. She is enough. And we are enough. So thank you for spending this time with me and with our listeners. And thank you, listeners, for listening in once again this week. Love and blessings to all of you. Until next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.
So there you have it, a little heart and chutzpah for the day. Today, give yourself a little permission to be both big-hearted and a little feisty, just like you were created to be. Thank you for joining me. I hope you'll reach out to me via social media at Kamala Murphy, and it's Murphy with an EY, or at my website, kamalamurphy.com. Again, thank you for joining me. Many blessings. Until next time. Bye for now.